So I watched Hunter Killer again, right? The first time I was kind of happy that they did something, for submarine guys, and just something to kind of illustrate in a roundabout way about what we do. So I know this is going, people are going to talk trash. They're supposed to, but so the more I look at it, man, the more that movie kind of pisses me off. You know, there are so many real life stories from World War II that have not been told uh, to the general public or haven't been made public. And they take this thing and they make it a movie. This hunter killer shit. You know, very interesting, very cool. I'd like to see something that's historically based. Come out. The Squalus, the USS Squalus, the disaster that happened on her, basically cracked in half, and only like 20 of the guys survived. They had to use the bell to attach to the submarine, and they were able to bring up everybody in about 4 trips. And on the 4th trip, the wire was breaking. They had to reel it in by hand. They almost lost those guys on the way up. There's a whole lot of stories out there. One that I think is absolutely unappreciated, and it has kind of been swept under the rug. I don't know why or how, but Admiral Flucky's story, especially his last deployment. He was basically already a hero at that point, and then he went on this crazy run. His last deployment. How is that story? How does that story go unheralded? How does that not? How's there not like 5 movies made about this guy? I don't get it. I don't understand how that's possible. You look at World War II and being on a submarine at that time, you'll see articles out there. I mean, it's basically a fucking death sentence. Every 5th patrol, you were done. If you made it to your 5th patrol, I mean, you were done. 20% died. It was a bloodbath, man. Nobody was come saving you. Nobody was, there's no fucking deep submergence vehicle that might be able to save your ass, right? And these stories just go untold. It's a fucking tragedy, in my opinion. Now, some guys may disagree and be like, oh, all I did was, slip in my rack and I had to do the mid-watch. Blah, blah, blah. Well, there's some guys out there, who had a couple of close calls, who have been through some shit, and can kind of, and aren't those, those lucky guys that just went 20 years fucking off after the mid-watch or something. So I kind of, the more I look back on my small amount of time, I did 12 years, my small amount of time in the military, and I look at kind of, those guys that did 30 years and had been from boat to boat to boat and have went through crazy shit. I want to see those stories told. I'm interested in it. And I don't know how the rest of the world wouldn't be interested in some of those stories. But if you're worried about clearances and shit like that, then start with, the older stuff, man. Talk about, you can go back to World War One, World War Two, especially World War Two. Oh my God, man. And they say there's only one enlisted submariner who's ever received the Medal of Honor, right? TM2 Henry Brolt, retired as a TM1, buried up in Connecticut, Putnam, I think. And when you look at his story, tell his story. It's amazing. You can't tell me that's not a movie. You look at, they say that there's only one of those enlisted guys that's got a Medal of Honor. That's because nobody lives to tell the fucking story. How many of those guys, from World War One or World War Two, I should say, that went down, How many survivors were there on those submarines? Not many. None. Nobody. We all go down together. You know. Nobody lives to tell the tale. You know, you don't think there was acts of heroism and their moments of peril at sea? Of course there was. Of course there was. And nobody talks about it. There's no fucking movie, no nothing, no investigation, nothing. Like, they're just gone. You know? There's stories untold. If ever they should take some time and look into things, why not that? You know? But if you're not going to get into all the guys that have been lost and all that and the tragedy associated with it and the pain associated and the ripple effect associated with it, and, you know, as far as the families go and communities, etc. You know, you can take you know, the people that did live. You know, Flucky's a great example, great story associated with him. He's a nut job, man. That guy's crazy. Especially that last deployment. You know, you can talk about the Scorpion. You can talk about the Thresher. Each one of those has one survivor associated with it that can kind of talk about it. And there's a movie there. There's something to teach the upcoming generation and to pay homage to those that went out there and did it. You know, I don't want my kids to... Hunter Killer, yeah, great, sure, interesting. You got Common and fucking Gerard Butler. You know, in Navy SEALs and this and that. Look, man, we don't need Navy SEALs to do our job. Were there fucking Navy SEALs in World War II that we were working with? I don't know. Probably not. I don't even know when they were created. Don't give a fuck when they were created. It's not my community. You know what I mean? I'm a submariner. I care about that shit. You know, I don't get it. I don't get it, man. I'd like to see a more historical kind of movie based around submarines. You know, with some truth to it. You know, I'd like to hear what you guys think. Y'all have a great day. Stay safe. Submarines once, baby.